Scary pretended to call the engineer that there was a problem, even though he didn't push the button.
Are we ready?
Everyone except for Brody, apparently.
We do it at the same time every day,
Yeah,
Brody.
Gandhi was talking to me about something stupid.
Oh, blame Gandhi!
I think it was you that was talking to Gandhi.
I object.
Thank you, everybody who witnessed it. This is what happened.
Thank you.
It may have been me. It absolutely was me. But in fairness, Nate asked me to ask Gandhi
So why
something.
the immediate gut reaction to throw Gandhi under the bus?
Well, I'm tired of taking the blame for stuff. Actually, she was the closest. Otherwise,
Oh, wow.
Listen,
you know.
But can we? If something goes wrong in the studio or on the air or whatever, I always get blamed first for it. It's just how it works.
I don't think that's true.
I think that's true.
I think
Scary gets blamed a lot.
Scary gets blamed a lot.
He deserves it though because he pushes the buttons.
I don't care though. I think it's a character flaw that some people just can't admit when they're wrong. That's just a thing.
Really?
When was the last
All right,
time you
hang
were
on.
wrong,
Slow
Scary?
down. Scotty B.
Me.
There have been plenty of times when Scary has messed things up, and Elvis is sitting next to Scary, and Scary will look in here like this. You know?
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I know that it was Scary, but I just take it. I take it.
I will say that.
Oh,
Scary.
so you try to throw him under the bus?
There have been times where Garrett has fucked the show up, and I sat there and bit my tongue, and you're my witness. I'm
Hold
like,
on.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, one at a time.
Oh, we should get Sam in here because Sam will say there's times where you fucked the show up.
Okay. Hang on, we need reins on this. Okay, so Scary just made the accusation to you. Garrett, how would you like to respond?
First, I'm going to be a good friend and not throw anybody else under the bus like my friend Scary has previously.
Okay.
I'm going to sit here and take it. And I think when I do mess up, Nate, Scary, who comes to you and goes, yes. But when have I denied it? The one time I was home, I said, yes, this is why I messed up. But the rest of the time I go, yes, that's on me. Because you know why? At the end of the day, after you say it's on me, they go, okay.
Because, and I will attest to this, Garrett is a man of his word. When he fucks up, he says he fucks up. However, in that moment when the fuck up happens, Scary is blamed.
But
I will say that.
I do not say it was Garrett.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I take it because I'm a sponge.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you'll fuck up and you blame Sam.
Right.
What? How's that?
So Sam.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Wait, how's that?
Oh yeah, there's been things.
I don't blame things on you.
I mean, you have. That's okay. I mean, it's not, but it's happened.
What?
Oh, yeah, when we play a phone tap Elvis doesn't
Something's
like, he'll go,
happened.
Sam picked it.
Yes, you're
She
very
didn't
quick
edit out
to
the
say
cars.
that.
It was her fault.
Yeah. No, you've dropped my name very quickly with stuff.
What?
What about when Scary hasn't pushed the right button on the board, and then he pushes it while we're watching, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have no idea what was going on." That's crazy.
That is true.
Can I add to what he did last week?
That was just last week with Scotty's mic. He's like, everybody's mic's on. He then pushes the button and goes,
So
yeah, see, everybody's mic's on.
During an interview, Elvis switches to a second microphone, the interview microphone that's closer to the guest on the show. Well, it didn't work. There was something wrong with it, and Elvis had to use the mic he didn't want to use. So I noticed that Scary hadn't pushed the right button. Scary pretended to call the engineer that there was a problem, even though he didn't push the button. He's like, Elvis, I called Jeff. He's going to fix it. But it was Scary who didn't push the button.
Wow.
At that moment, I really thought I needed an engineer to troubleshoot. It wasn't until after I made the call, though, that I did look over and notice that I hit the wrong button.
Wait a minute, you noticed?
But I let the rest of it play.
We like to call that operator error. That's what we call
I don't know
that.
who to address in Your Honor, but Your Honor, I need to ask Scary a
I will
question.
play the
Your
part of
Honor,
Your Honor right now.
So, Scary, all right, now that you want to be a good guy and say, I never throw your name under the bus, but then you proceeded to go, but it's Garrett's fault right now. Question. During the Jack Harlow interview, towards the end of the interview, you wrote Elvis a note, and you passed Elvis that note.
Yes.
Did you take credit for said note that you passed to Elvis?
No. Well, no, because there was a note that I wrote because Garrett has access to my left ear. See, I have like this feedback thing in my ear. So Garrett whispered in my ear from another studio, hey, pass Elvis a note about the interview to ask this certain question. This was at the very end.
Correct.
Very end as we were wrapping up. So all I did was transcribe what Garrett was telling me, and I handed it to Elvis. And Elvis actually used it, and then the interview ended.
What was the question?
Well, it was about
just- it was
Instagram,
more about-
because Elvis talked about how First Class is in everybody's Instagram reel
Yeah,
video
that was it, yeah.
yesterday, and he hadn't mentioned it yet in the interview. So I told Scary. Scary wrote the note. I was just curious if someone in this room took credit for something that they might have
I don't think he even said
I don't
anything.
know.
there
No one
was
said
no-
anything to anybody. It's.
No, he
I'm
just
talking
means
about
you didn't.
you, Scary.
You didn't say to Elvis, by the way, that great question for some Garrett.
Well,
That's
if
what
that
it's
was
implying.
the case, then Elvis should have been like, "This came from Garrett." But
Well, he didn't know. You didn't write Garrett
No,
on
but
it.
the point is, the thing is, this is those
We're a
moments.
team. We're a team.
Yes. And certain things are just stage directions.
Right.
And it's our job to get Elvis information. It doesn't matter how it ended up there.
I see
It
where
just
Scary's
happened.
coming
it all
from.
out there now.
I see where Scary's coming from in this one.
you,
Otherwise, it would be
Froggy.
every time he turned around, Elvis would be, okay, so-and-so said this. Oh, I got this
Yeah,
from so-and-so.
true,
I mean,
true.
he
Yeah,
can't
you
do
can't
that.
play
No,
that.
no. But
Do
after
you know
you can
how
tap.
Okay, one at a time,
Wait, do
Danielle.
you know how many times Garrett will send me questions, and I think he does it for you too sometimes with things like for either an interview or he'll send me an entertainment story or whatever. I'm not gonna every time go, Garrett sent me this because that just would be
Garrett didn't give me shit.
ridiculous. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Damn
hold
it,
on.
Garrett.
There's one thing where people go, thank you. Scary tends to take some credit from time to
Here's
time.
the thing. Gandhi and I have both worked for other shows. As producers, you give information. You're not there for credit. If
Thank
credit
you.
happens,
If credit happens,
I don't know why I'm about to say Matt Lauer. I can't think who hosts one of those
Of
fucking
all
shows.
all the guys,
I
you
know.
think Matt
Yeah, exactly.
Kelly
Wait,
Clarkson.
Scary locked the door. He wants credit for locking
Kelly
the
Clarkson
door.
would be like, "Oh yes, Cindy brought this to my like." No, she
That's-
just
but
says
she-
the
but that's
information.
Kelly.
Right, and-
That is Kelly. But to the point that I'm trying to make is we just provide information. If Elvis wants to give credit, Elvis gives credit. I don't look for credit. I don't care. I just want it on. If my idea sucks,
we had this conversation the
sucks.
other day with Sam because I didn't give Sam credit for something that.
No, but that was kind of a problem.
You took the credit. You
That's
said
what I'm saying.
I.
That's what I'm implying here.
I know,
people.
but I said we as a team because we.
But you didn't
See,
do
what
it.
I would have done in that situation, I would have said, Sam found this. It was
Right.
fucking however old.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God,
You
yeah.
had a great idea.
I read this book called "It's Your Ship."
Okay.
Have you guys ever read it? Hey,
No.
what's this guy's name in the team? Froggy.
Apparently, I have not.
Sorry, I have a
Matt
stroke
Lauer.
moment.
It's Matt Lauer.
It's your
Stroke
ship
moment.
or ship?
It's Your Ship.
Okay, with a
It's
P,
Your
with a
Ship.
P.
It's a book that Tom Brady reads before every season, and it's about the captain of a naval ship, and he, as the captain, he would say, okay, you might be a seaman second class, but this is your ship. Like, you take ownership, take pride. When you do something that is noteworthy and creditable, you will get credit for it. And that's how Tom Brady runs his team, and that's why he's so successful. So I read that book, and I'm like, fuck it. If Sam does something great, hey, Sam found this great thing. She did a great job editing the interview. Garrett found some great sound.
But I'm glad that you and Gandhi and Froggy acknowledge that it's really about the team.
But that is true.
It is about the team,
You
and it's
shouldn't
not about
expect
any one
credit.
person.
Okay, but I'm getting confused here because if Tom Brady was here, Tom Brady would have said, "Hey, Elvis, Garrett wrote that joke with that question."
Right.
You contradicted yourself.
No,
But there's
that's
no time
but
for
in
him
the
to
middle-
do that.
yeah, in the
that's
middle of the
the
interview.
scenario
No,
of
That's
nobody is
different.
saying during the
can't
show
do it.
just that Scary. If Elvis, okay, picture this: Scary gives Garrett's note to Elvis. Elvis asks the question. It goes well. Had
meditating, Gandhi?
Elvis looked back at Scary and gave him the nod of approval, like, "Oh, good question, Scary." Would Scary have told him later in the show or later in the day?
Yes.
By the way, that nod was.
I
Forget.
believe he would
Yes,
have.
Okay,
yes, I
then that's all that matters.
Yeah, I believe he would
That's
have.
what I'm talking about. I'm not
Otherwise,
looking for on-air
the
credit.
show would never go anywhere. We would always be
Yeah.
constantly, oh, where'd you get that one from? Oh, I got that from Gandhi. I got
Well,
that
no,
one from
Gandhi
Garrett.
wouldn't because no one gives her anything apparently.
No one gives me shit.
Yeah, no one gives her shit.
That's not
No
true.
issue.
To be fair, though, I will always give credit whether it's a good idea or a bad idea.
Oh, yes,
So
like the
if
time
you're-
that you threw Diamond under the bus a few
Which
weeks
one
ago
was
for
that?
phone call.
Oh yeah, that phone call.
A bad phone call came
terrible.
in, and Nate was very quick to tell Elvis after Elvis was like, "What's going on here?" I mean, it was bad. It was a bad phone call. Most phone calls are great.
Yeah.
But that one was like, ugh.
But
so
that's-
then Nate, he looks at Nate and it's like, it was all Diamond.
But Brody,
That is the part of the job.
Right, but it's
Brody,
your
has-
ship.
Brody, you've texted me things before to say, and I've said them, and I've gotten in trouble, and I don't go, well, Brody told me to say that.
That's
I
right.
just-
Oh,
I just,
But it's-
I just
hang
keep my
that
shit.
has happened to me several times. But Elvis will call me out and he'll go, dude, next time Brody writes you a joke like that, don't say it.
But no. Here's the point. The point is, it's always your choice whether you
That's
say
right.
it or
I
not.
think it's funny a lot of times.
Okay.
My humor might be different.
It's right. It's whoever pushes the button.
Yeah, because I will be honest, you probably put, I'd say like 50% of the jokes he reads, doing 25.
You mean on air?
Yeah.
Oh,
Elvis doesn't read all of them.
No.
No,
you know?
and sometimes he'll laugh and he'll go, "We can't do that on the air."
Yeah, or he'll look at it and shake his head
Yeah,
and
or
throw it
sometimes
back
he'll go,
at you.
"Really, you wrote that?" Like
Yeah.
I get that look too.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he does
no.
that for the rest of us, too.
Yeah.
Like, we handed
Yeah.
something, he's like,
No.
Gandhi, you're awful quiet.
Oh no, I'm just taking it in, listening
Well, I
to
have
everyone.
written jokes for Gandhi, and she gives me the look like, I don't need your fucking jokes.
I don't like it. I don't like people telling me questions to ask. I don't like people writing jokes
which
for
is
me.
why we don't.
Right,
It's
which
respect. I respect that.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
if
you
no
don't
one
want to be
gives me
funny.
shit.
That's your problem.
I like that people don't give me shit. I just feel, here's the thing, right? With Brody, there's a big difference between Brody and I in every way,
Brody
right?
Brody
There we go. That's
I'm
one of the big
likable.
differences.
He's not, right? Like, there's a big difference. So, I'm just kidding. I think
They
people
like
hate us
me on
equally.
social media.
So, what Brody thinks is funny and would give me as a joke, it's not something that would normally come out of my mouth.
It's not
so
in your
that's why
voice.
I don't
Right.
ever use his
Yeah,
stuff.
and I stopped
that's why
because
I don't use. Yeah.
I get it. I respect that.
It's not that I don't think you guys are funny or I don't want a question from Garrett or content. It's that it doesn't sound like my voice, so I don't use it. I just use my own.
And Elvis doesn't read verbatim what Brody writes a lot of the times, or a lot of us. He'll take it and tweak it and put it in his own voice.
Yeah, like for instance, today you were talking about going to the Yankee game wearing a Detroit Tigers hat. And I put in front of Elvis, just as a thought starter, ask him if he has good life insurance.
Yeah.
He took that and said, I hope you have a good doctor.
Yeah.
It was just something to spark conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how the show works.
Also, if there's a monetary thing attached to it, I want all the credit.
Wait a minute. Explain that a little bit more.
Inside info, I did something in another city where I worked, and it was a wild success. It made history. A lot of money was made off of it, and I got cut out because I left said city.
You know, here's the
I'm
thing.
coming
So,
for it.
well, I think probably maybe only Elvis has the ability to get the money off of those ideas, because I actually, at my old job, I said, hey, I want to do this idea. We can make money off of it. And they're like, great. We own that idea. And it's our decision to do whatever we want with it.
No, this was not an iHeart thing.
Oh,
this
really?
was outside, specifically outside of
Yes.
iHeart by design. My idea. I have all of the proof I need. And said person got very mad at me about something and cut me out of it.
Well, I
That's
think
not
you
cool.
should. I have a friend.
Not
He's an
cool.
attorney, and he will gladly take this
No,
case
give
for
it to me.
33%. No,
I mean,
seriously.
You want to talk about getting ripped off? David Brody has like 3 shining examples of what
Mr.
times
Movie
when he
Phone.
did the,
One of the things we talked about on the air today, which is song credit. If somebody writes a song and someone else writes one word, they get credit. So I wrote a parody of The Real Slim Shady for the real Greg Brady. Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch.
I remember that.
He recorded it, but in the recording process, changed one word and then got writing credit and then took half the money and then said the other half was to pay the production costs. And I got nothing. So I love you, Greg Brady.
Go for it,
but you owe
Brody,
me
get
money,
it.
mother effer.
Yes.
Wow.
Nate has a lawyer.
Johnny Bravo.
No, Gandhi, you should be representing. Like, I wouldn't want to face you in court.
I like to think I wouldn't want to face me in court, but then I learn all these things that I didn't know, and I'm like, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
lose.
there's
great
actually
thing.
procedure and rules. You
I'd
can't just go,
lose.
fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you,
Give me
that's
my
not
money.
right.
That's what the court needs.
The other
Someone
guy,
like her.
the other guy Danielle mentioned, sold my idea 3 times.
Mr. Movie Phone.
Well, I didn't say
Oh,
who.
man.
I did.
she did.
Here's what I learned:
Name
you
names.
can't copyright an idea.
No.
That's right.
You
Can't
can
copyright
trademark
an idea.
But wait
ideas
a minute.
temporarily.
I thought if you wrote your idea on a piece of paper
And
and,
mail it.
mailed it to yourself, and it's postmarked, and you don't open it, and something happens, they can see that idea was came
Yeah, but
to
it wasn't in the
fruition.
public
And
domain.
you know what else?
They
You
don't know that
can't
was in the envelope.
You can't copyright or trademark a recipe, because if someone steals your shit and someone else makes it the exact same way, you will lose every time in a court of law if you
Right.
try to
That's
sue.
right.
All they
why
got to
there's
do
so
is say,
many
I put one more grain of salt than you do, then the recipe's different.
No, but even if it's exactly the same, you can't sue. It's not a suable thing.
No, but you
That's
can't
why
take a baseball bat when someone steals your pizza recipe.
You can't
We've
take a
seen
baseball
that.
shit out
bat
of
into
them.
someone's head and kill someone.
Yes.
Or like with the Colonel's secret recipe or the recipe for Coca-Cola.
Oh, the Coca-Cola story. Yeah.
These are all locked up in a vault, and only a limited number of people know it because they don't want it to get out there and get
Wow.
replicated. Yeah. Specifically KFC, specifically Coca-Cola. I learned that on the History Channel on how it's made, or something about America. Yeah.
So you heard about this?
No, this is true.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
food that made America, right?
The what? The food that made America.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Scary.
All
All
right. You
right.
could trademark a name like
By the way,
Scary Jones.
by the way,
He's so
Garrett
proud.
watched that show, and Scary's just stealing that.
Yes.
That was
Damn
Garrett.
it, scary.
Lesson learned: give credit where credit is due. Bye, everybody.
Bye.